Playing a little introduction chicken. Welcome to the Cinnamon.
No, I was really debating like, do I want to do the over the top, or do I just want to do something normal for once? And then I realized like how long I was thinking about it, and then that made me think even
Very
longer
pregnant
about it.
pause.
It was a
Very
bit,
pregnant pause. We had to induce.
we had to induce to get that thought out. It's reasonable. I said the thought did not get to 10 centimeters.
Yep.
It is the Cinnamon, episode 77. As always, it is I, one of the hosts of this show, Seed, and as always, the warm and fluffy and cuddly Douglas Davidson. How are you doing today, sir?
It's almost winter. I've got to get ready for it. We've got a freeze warning tonight.
Oh, we did.
I got to make sure I'm ready. So fluffy and cuddly is
That's the way to go in these
it's
times,
the
sir.
way to go
Yeah,
right now.
until those times hit July, like, God damn, it's hot outside.
Well, that's when you got to lose it all. That's
Yes,
that's the
yes.
yes.
Okay. All right, that makes sense to me. We are back with yet another episode of the Cinnamon. It's been a couple weeks since our last one, man, and we're here to bless your ears yet again with more talk about cinema. Man, how have you been since we last recorded, sir? I have seen you. One of
Out in the wild.
the rare Douglas Davison appearances. Always good to see you in the flesh and bone.
Likewise, likewise. They do a press screening. I do my very best to show up. The previous press screening I was totally going to attend. You, on the other hand, were too good to come.
Yes.
And then I got a horrific migraine and couldn't make it. But now I've got better drugs and I have not been laid out since. It's been amazing.
See, man, drugs make the world go round. It was a show at the Independent Picture House you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Was it Causeway? What was that
Causeway.
screening for? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Now on Apple TV for those of you who have not watched this,
Do
A24
recommend.
joint. If you are a fan of A24 movies, go ahead and check that out. It is currently at the bottom of my to watch list.
Well, if you whether you Daryl or anybody listening, if you like Jennifer Lawrence doing character work, and if you like Brian Tyree Henry at all, it's worth checking out just for them. And of
Paper
course,
boy.
in your case, what's his name? Stephen McKinley Henderson.
Oh, my man, Cooper Howard.
Yep, he's got a bit role in there. Shows up for 2, maybe 3 scenes, and just supporting entirely. But
He's been living his whole career off of that.
pays the bills, I'm sure. But this film has the second that I can think of long take monologue from an actor talking about their trauma. This one is nowhere near as devastating as Resurrection, but it is interesting.
Have you seen Pearl?
No.
That one's got a pretty wicked monologue too, my man. That one just descends into depravity. That's
if X or Pearl get nominated for FYC, I will see them. But as I understand, they're more of the hard slasher. I have not checked them out.
No, they are not hard slashers. As a person who is not a fan, really, of that genre, X is more of an homage to slashers, but it's also kind of tongue in cheek at the same time, which is why I like it.
Well, that's what gets them killed. It's putting all the tongues
in
in the cheeks in the X-rated movie they were making.
Yeah,
it upset Pearl.
I'm saying it sure did. And Pearl's a slasher, as in like, hey, no, I wouldn't even call Pearl a slasher, but that's neither here nor there. We're here to talk about movies we have seen recently, sir. Would you like to start with your first?
I will. And I was told that I couldn't do this briefly, and so I've decided to prove you right. No, the first 2 films I want to mention are home releases. The first one, everybody's got their opinions on it. They've either seen it, they haven't seen it. It's a classic. It's not. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is getting released by Paramount in a 4K. If you are a fan of this film, the 4K is lovely. Comes out November 22nd. I'll have a full home release review soon of it. It comes with an hour and 15 minutes of deleted/extended scenes. They're not necessarily finished, so it won't look as good as the film in any format really that you've had. But if you'd like to see other work that Martin and John and Candy did, Steve Martin, John Candy, in the respective roles as the leads, then that is a good time for you. And the 4K does look really, really good. The other home release is George Miller's 3,000 Years of Longing. I saw it in the theaters, and because of, and I wrote about this in my theatrical review, there was a busted pipe the theater didn't know was in the theater because no one had gone to see a film in that theater all day. So those of us that were at the press screening, we thought it was part of the movie.
I didn't think it was part of the movie. I was like, something
Well, there were
wonky's
some
happening
of us
around
that
here.
did. We
Oh,
weren't
okay.
sure.
Okay.
But I rewatched it and it is so much better the second time around. I also had captions on because I was curious about a couple of things. So some of the ideas in it connected way better. There's no bonus features, which bums the hell out of me and feels like a missed opportunity to really provide people that enjoyed it with more. So those are two home releases that are coming out. 3,000 Years of Longing on the 15th, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles on the 22nd to keep an eye out for. The other two I want to mention are both streaming documentaries. And in light of the joke at the beginning of this show, I feel I must apologize because Tanya Lewis Lee and Paula Islet's Aftershock, which is currently on Hulu, is a devastating. It's a wonderfully made documentary, but it is devastating documentary, about 90 minutes, that is about the epidemic of Black and minority deaths in maternity cases.
Mm-hmm.
So this follows that. It follows a couple of families that are trying to make things more well known. It is a hard watch, but it is not hard in the sense of it's like hitting you with depression every second. There is hope, there's wonder, there is life. Do absolutely recommend that. And another documentary that is on Netflix, it's one of the better ones I've seen this year, Margaret Brown's Descendant. It's I think closer to 2 hours. This one is actually inspired by a book that came out but would not get published because it was written by I think a descendant of a slave, and so nobody wanted to touch it. But it's essentially telling the story of back in the 1800s when slavery had been banned, and two rich dudes with nothing better to do went, I bet I can bring slaves back into the country. And they did, and they succeeded. And it's this story of people trying to find the ship, trying to find proof, and trying to reclaim some of their identity. And it's told in such a way that involves the book, involves the people that are there, and involves the historians that are trying to track down the ship. It is really impressive all the way through that it is told. So recommend both those docs.
There you go.
And look at that.
Look at that.
Quick.
Lovely. Love to see it. Love to see it. I got two to talk about as well. Mine will also be super brief. The first one, Armageddon Time, will be brief because it's not good. Directed by
That is all I keep hearing about Armageddon Time.
Yeah, directed by James Gray. We seem to be in this this weird time of older filmmakers wistfully looking back at their younger lives. Where we get that, but a little bit there with Belfast. We got it here with Armageddon Time. We're getting it with the Fablemans, and I feel like there's one other notable one that's come out somewhat recently. And also, I just assumed that's what Scorsese was doing with The Irishman. What?
Real quick, when we're done talking about Armageddon Time, remind me to tell you what made me laugh. Please continue.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, James Gray, who did Ad Astra a couple years ago, a movie that I
Phenomenal.
seem to enjoy quite more than a lot of other people did. Received not all that well, but both of us, we are both in the camp of love it. This is Anne Hathaway, Jeremy Strong, a young man named Banks Rapeta, who's a stand-in for a young James Gray. Anthony Hopkins is his granddad. Just about talking about the Jewish come up in 1980s Queens, New York City, best city in the world, and just kind of the life of the Jewish person. Their hard scrabble to have more than what it is they have, rise their station in life, as it were, and just and also kind of how the negative sentiment towards African Americans in the 80s in New York was also very realistically portrayed throughout here. And a lot of people are saying it's kind of like a white guilt movie, as James Gray's way of apologizing for some of that. I didn't see any of that in there. All I saw was this young stand-in for James Gray being just a complete shit all throughout this movie, and absolutely annoying. And I had no redeeming qualities for any character seen on screen, with the exception of the black kid, which is also trying to make it in his own way. It's I don't think it's the movie he set out to make. I don't think it's really accurately portraying the message that he's trying to tell people that it's portraying, and that film Twitter seems to have fallen for. But yeah, it is what it is. It's not all that great. I didn't find it really all that engaging or engrossing. But Anthony Hopkins, I will be submitting for Best Supporting Actor. Doesn't have a whole lot of screen time, but once again, man, he does what he does when he's on screen, man. He makes that magic. The scenes with him and Banks Rapetta are the best scenes in the movie. They have a great chemistry together. Anne Hathaway doesn't have a whole lot to do. Jeremy Strong doesn't have a whole lot to do. Yeah. You can love it or leave it. I also saw a but yes.
No, real quick, because you mentioned Anthony Hopkins, and I know how much you loved The Father. Do you have any plans to see The Son?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do plan on seeing that. I saw there's an email that went out about screening for The Son. I have not read that email. So yeah.
You might want to. The original email said the screening was the 14th.
Yeah, I think they changed that date.
Yeah. It's either the 21st or the 22nd.
I think it's the 21st now. And I think there's like another 2 screenings on the 14th, which I'm not a fan of, but is what it is.
The Menu and the Menu has
Glass
2
Onion
tomorrow. And what?
Glass Onion.
And Glass Onion.
Yes, the Menu, those fucks gave the daytime screening, and then you're like, you can go to this evening screening, and I'm like, it still doesn't work. But yes, I will be there for The Son, definitely, because I love The Father so much. Florian Zelder, something like that. I do believe is that director. Can't wait. I saw a far better film than Armageddon Time, which was a low bar to clear. Tar is what I saw, directed by Todd Fieldman, his first movie in like a dozen and some change years. It is. I can objectively say, as a film critic, that Tar is the best.
Wait. Why did you have to? Why was your pinky in the air when you said that?
First of all, my hands weren't even in the frame.
And yet I could see it off the reflection of the TV behind you.
Of the Pats game that's playing here. I can say that it has all the elements to be the best made movie of the year. Like, Tar is phenomenal, is outstanding. It is a wonderful dive into just the most horrible, abusive, manipulative person, played eloquently by Cate Blanchett. It won't be in my top 10, but it is an absolute wonder to behold. It is technically absolutely sound, the smoothest camera work I've seen in quite some time. A lot of people, when you talk about cinematography, they're like, this one shot looks great, but also just how a camera moves in a frame is part of cinematography. And there's some nice fluid ass movement all throughout. And one scene, especially when she's guest teaching at Juilliard, Todd Field was just directing the hell out of that scene as well. Cate Blanchett gives the best performance of her career in this movie as well. She is a tour de force. She's in every frame of this not very small movie. It's almost 3 hours. 158 minutes. It presents as one thing, and then as the film progresses, you just get layer after layer after layer after layer pulled back. And where this character ends is nowhere near where this character begins. And it is a fascinating journey from beginning to end.
Well, I can tell you, Focus is putting it up, FYC. They've got 9 films on their website, and Armageddon Time and Tar are 2 of them.
They're both Focus features. All right. Well, one of them deserves to be there. That's nice.
Armageddon Time, Downton Abbey, A New Era, Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, The Northman, The Outfit, The Silent Twins, Tar, and You Won't Be Alone.
What are they putting the outfit up for?
I don't know. It unfortunately, when you click on them, at least when I clicked on Tar. Oh no. Okay, the outfit it does.
Costume design, give costume design.
Well, Tar didn't have anything other than here's where you can go see it. For the outfit, we've got Best Picture, Production Design, Director, Costume Design, Screenplay, Makeup and Hair, Actor, Supporting, Sound, Supporting Actor, Cinematography, Editing, and Original Score.
Putting the outfit up for Best Picture is that's like when I send the email to Rihanna asking for a date on Friday. I don't see that happening.
I'm pretty sure it's just sort of like the thing everybody puts their film up for Best Picture just to be considered. I mean, Deadpool 2 was part of the FYC was Best Picture.
Well, it should.
To be fair. And for those of you that are interested in any of these films that I just mentioned from Focus Features, many of them are available on Peacock, already streaming on Peacock.
There you go. I
Like
know
Mrs.
the
Harris, Silent Twins, Honk for Jesus. Those are for sure. I saw them on the streaming service last night.
I think Outfit is streaming as well.
I forget where, but I think you're right.
Yeah, because I am going to be rewatching that here in a couple weeks. Yeah, so those are the two movies. One very good, one not very good. Go see Tar in theater if you can. It's not one of those like you gotta see it in a theater to appreciate it. But that sound design, considering it is a movie about a woman who is a conductor, very film heavy. A lot of talk about film and film composers, even if that's not your bag. Like I said in my review, you don't have to understand that to understand the gist of what they're talking, the themes of what they're talking about. Literally, you can just pluck her out of the film conducting and composing world and put her into any profession, and that's the
She'd still be a
avatar
dick
for the
bag.
story. Yeah, she'd still be a dick bag.
Bag of dicks.
Yeah, an oversized one, 10 pounds of it in a 5 pound bag. But yeah, there you go. That's my two. Absolutely in love with Tar, not so much Armageddon Time. We also saw Together, holding hands in the theater. We
No, you were
saw
holding your sister's hand with one, and you had tissues in the other.
we saw Black Panther: Wakanda Forever
Mhm.
at a crazy screening. Man, I have since seen it again. I forgot I had tickets for it. Rewatched
Yeah,
it
you keep
again.
being like, "Hey, man, when are we gonna record?" I don't know. When are you gonna, be available? You keep re-seeing all these movies.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Just
like I said in
I
my
was free on Thursday. Actually, no, I ended up watching Planes, Trains, and Automobiles for the first time.
You don't say. I said in the tweet a couple days ago, we are now at that time of year where you're going to start trying to figure out what your tops this year and tops that are. And we are getting to the releases that will not have the benefit of home releases in time to rewatch. I don't think I'm going to see a movie that comes out in early December at a home release anytime soon to figure out where it's going to be top 10. So any movie that's looking pretty decent, I'm going to see it twice in theaters at this point.
That's fair. That's fair. I think Disney does have Wakanda Forever on their FYC page, so you never know.
So you never know. But yeah, there you go. I'm double dipping on now, including movies that we'll be talking about later on today on this episode. If
Right
you've
on.
read the title of this episode, we're not ready to transition just yet. What did you think about Black Panther: Wakanda Forever? So,
The more I think about it, the less I like it,
yes, me too.
which is unfortunate. Without getting into details, I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to watch this as fairly as possible. For me, it seemed like it was too much. They had a difficult fucking task,
Yes.
huge task. The original idea from an interview I read with Kugler is that the intent was to bring in Namor sooner, but they couldn't in the first one because they didn't have rights. But they did for this. Namor was supposed to be in this. It was supposed to be a story about T'Challa coming to grips with having been gone for 5 years and fallout and whatever else. My problem, they figured out a way to have Bozeman exist as T'Challa. They acknowledge his death in a way that to a degree makes sense. To a degree. Because Wakanda is one of the most advanced places in the world, and I have to agree, it seems weird that he would just go out like that when he has the herb in him. But the story that we get, I get why they did it, but the story we get feels a little bit too much like Civil War and the previous film put together with this new thing. And it doesn't always work when you think about it in that regard. But the story that we do get, it is entertaining, it is engaging. It's slowed down a whole lot, so it's more of a character drama, which is interesting as a change. And the action sequences aren't as impressive as the previous one. The stakes don't feel should be huge given what's going on in the narrative, but it never feels like it. But I did like one person's comment that I saw this weekend, which is that as a whole, this film being the last film of Phase 4, there's been a lot of loss throughout the films in this phase. that this, with the final scene of the film, not the end credit, but the mid credit, but the way that this film ends is almost like an okay, we're ready to move on.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I at least thematically I thought was neat.
I feel like this. I never got the phase four isn't doing anything. It's all disconnected. I think the entire purpose of this phase has been twofold: slate cleaning and setting up, as well as this has been one giant denouement from from the Infinity Saga. This has been like this is all afterward, as it is, and I think when Feige announced that Wakanda Forever earlier this year was going to be the end of the phase, I thought that announcement felt kind of sudden because it felt like it was coming in the midst of the highest cries of Phase Four isn't going anywhere. Phase Four isn't going anywhere, and he just popped up and he's like, "Well, the next one's the last one." And I was like, that seems awful strange. Are they just retooling, re-strategizing? But no, it makes perfect sense that this, now that we've seen it, this would be the last one. I agree with you. There are some things that don't quite work. Namor as a villain does not quite work for me.
Really?
Yeah. A couple things that that don't quite make sense with him, or his, not his motivations. His motivations, I understand. It's his whole motivation is to save his people and keep his people safe. Yeah. Which, yeah, makes sense. That's his ruler. The decisions that he makes in service of that make no sense to me at times, or seem a little bit rushed. But you know, as a movie about grief, it is quite potent. I think it is very, very respectful in the homage they pay to Chadwick Boseman, even if I think they leaned a little too heavy on it at times, a bit over sentimental, as it were. Shuri, Letitia Wright is great as who's our vessel throughout this entire thing. I liked most of what she was doing there. She mostly holds the movie together. I think Angela Bassett might be the fiercest I've ever seen her in the movie. I think she almost is doing too much, but it's just at that level of like, yeah, she's just swinging for the fences on this one. And yeah, I mean, technical work again, Coogler, Ruthie Carter, Ludwig Göransson.
Ruthie Carter's work is so fucking good.
It's so good.
I wouldn't be surprised if this got her an Oscar as well, because she got it for the first one.
Yep.
The Black Panther suit alone, I love what they did with it. I fucking love what they did with it.
Yeah.
Because that's very specific. When you look at the suit, that is very specific.
Yeah, when I saw what was happening in the movie, and I thought back to the trailer, and I was like, why did I not see this particular thing coming? And it makes so much sense. My first thought coming out of that movie is they did better in this one movie than the entire Star Wars prequel did, in terms of paths taken, let's say. There's some turns to the dark side, which are a lot more believable in Black Panther than they are in the prequel trilogy. Much more concise and very much more well done. I enjoyed it. I think I put it like right in the middle of the pack of all the MCU movies. I think I agree with you that some of the action doesn't quite hold up. Although I will say that I'm glad that they pivoted away from the criticisms of the third act action scene between Killmonger and Black Panther. The first one is that bad CGI fight fest. This is a bit more personal one-on-one type deal that we get. And even in that fight, there's one thing in particular that makes absolutely no sense during that fight. That I was like, that shouldn't this shouldn't be happening right now. The human body should not be allowing this thing to happen. But
okay.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there. It's comic book shit. There's an entire storyline that can be cut from this movie with Everett Ross and all his shenanigans and nonsense. The streamline, but I understand you got to set up and world build, right? And I think that's exactly what that's there for, but it does not serve the purposes of the story at hand, which has always been kind of a knock against the MCU.
It makes me wonder if the original idea was to have that thread be larger in the original script. Because I forget where I saw this online shortly before recording, but that Namor is an antagonist. He's not a villain.
I saw that. I don't agree with that at all.
I would argue he's only a villain as a matter of perspective. He's about as he his he's willing to do dark shit, but he's also leading a people that have seen some dark shit, and he's been around a long time in order and has experienced some things. Whereas the machinations that involve the Ross storyline, I feel like, yeah, the US government's up to some shit that, I mean, we already saw based on that early action sequence. One country has already possibly broken the United Nations treaty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I have a I would just, given the opportunity, I would ask him if that was a larger Coogler or Joe Robert Cole, who co-wrote it, if that storyline was supposed to be more significant to the original script.
Yeah, either way, what we ended
Because to
up with.
me, those are the bad guys. We don't know it yet, and we may not know it until a later film, which I have an idea about that. But if I name it, it'll give some stuff away. So I don't want
Okay. All right. Dominique Thorne, can't not talk about her as Riri Williams Ironheart. Loved every bit of her performance and what she brought to it as well. That suit looked a little goofy to me. But her as Riri Williams, I think, is an excellent addition, and I cannot wait to see her again. More than likely in, well, I mean, we know she'll be in Armor Wars,
to. Yeah.
but I haven't thought that we might see her a little bit sooner than that.
Well, and Ironheart, she's getting her own show too.
Oh yeah, is that before or after Armor Wars though?
Can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember the timeline for that. But lot of praises also got to go. Denai was amazing as Okoye. Winston Duke, he's my MVP. This film and the last film. That man shows up in the movie. I fucking love M'Baku.
It's a perfect supporting character, man.
Oh
He
my
shows
God.
up every once in a while. He either hits you with some humor or hits you with some advice, and then he disappears again.
But like his entrance into this movie and then the way he talks to everybody in the room,
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love him.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
more of him.
That line apparently was improvised, which I found out earlier today. I am a big fan of that. Yeah, a lot of people are saying we need more M'Baku. We need M'Baku his own show. No, we have the perfect amount of M'Baku, enough to let us keep wanting more, but not overexposed.
Yes.
Yes, I think that's the one common thing I see when someone finds a character that they cling on to in the Marvel universe. Give them their own Disney Plus show. That's not how it should work. No, not at all.
I started covering my face and laughing when you said we don't want him to, overexpose himself. And all I could think of was Venkman's line in Ghostbusters 2. And you wouldn't want us exposing ourselves. Anyway.
Yeah. Overall, I think I put it right in the middle of my MCU rankings. It is a good movie, one that I will revisit from time to time, but not one I'm going to be like, oh yeah, now it's time to watch this.
There'll be parts of this I wouldn't mind revisiting. A lot of the stuff in Tolakan would be really interesting to revisit, but overall, then again, it's not meant to be a fun movie, so it's not like the other MCU films, even those that have their weightier moments. Excuse me, which I think is great that it is different. It diverges from so much that has become traditional that She-Hulk rightfully skewered. I was actually going to be super excited if we didn't get a third act finale battle. If it was something else entirely, I would have been stoked. But maybe we'll get there. I mean, Loki, the finale was mostly a conversation between He Who Will Remain and the two Lokis. So maybe not Secret Wars, but you don't think so?
No, I was thinking about how there
chess.
was a nice conversation, and then Sylvie fucked that whole thing up. No, I mean, at the end of WandaVision, the two visions end with the philosophical debate about the ship of Theseus. So that was interesting to see. But no, it's a comic book, so give me my comic book fight scenes. Those are musts. That is a good conflict resolution in comic books, like the big splash pages with everybody fighting. One last thing that I wanted to mention and drove it out of the head. I'm not going to be able to remember it. Yeah,
Okay.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I think you're right. It is this and strangely, Multiverse of Madness have been the weightier. My multiverse has a bit more fun to it. But of course, Doug's wearing a Pizza Papa shirt.
One of my anniversary gifts from Crystal.
Your obsession with Bruce Campbell continues. Yeah, I think both
Wait
of
till you
those
see what I'm
have.
wearing tomorrow.
Oh, good lord! You're wearing the whole Scarlet Witch outfit. That's going to be
Yeah,
interesting
yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you're not wearing
Where are my kids?
some kind of
Where are my kids?
your
You just
kids are
said I'll be
real
dressed
though.
like Scarlet
Your
Witch.
kids are real though, so we know they.
That's true. One of them's asleep across that wall. The
Yeah.
other one.
You're not wearing the big Benoit Blanc ascot tomorrow. I'll be sorely
Not the
upset.
ascot,
So.
no.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good movie. What are you ready to talk about today's topic?
I am ready. I am ready. Today we are talking about our anticipated winter films. Yes, yes, we are. Don't shake your head. No.
Yes,
Don't
yes,
shake your
we
head. No,
are.
that is what we're here to talk about. And to be clear, winter is technically
Here.
December 21st through March 20th. That is when the winter is. So this includes movies like I Want to Dance with Somebody, which I have yet to watch a trailer for. Megan, which looks entertaining, House Party, which I'm kind of curious about, The Offering, which I've heard very good things about, Women Talking, which I've also heard good things about, Knock at the Cabin, which is an M. Night Shyamalan film adapted from a book that's apparently terrible. So we'll see. Magic Mike's Last Dance, Ant-Man Quantumania, uh, Cocaine Bear with character actor Margot Martindale.
Little BoJack joke
there. Creed 3, Scream 6, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and of course, Shotgun Wedding, which I almost forgot about. It's a Jennifer Lopez, Josh Duhamel movie where they're about to get married and somebody attacks. Like happens. It almost happened to us, I mean, but we had somebody with a landmine and it.
Anyways, so you went by the technical definitions of
did.
winter. For me, winter is when it gets cold. It's cold outside now. So
it's fall. It's fall.
It's cold. Leslie, it is,
it is
winter.
Very cold.
It is winter. You said we're under a fucking freeze advisory. Leslie, it is winter. So all three of my movies are from this damn year where it's already cold.
Different winter. I'm sorry.
Yes. Would you like to get us off, sir, with your first one?
I will, and it's a bit of a cheat by my rules.
I like it.
A bit of a cheat by my rules because it gets a theatrical release beginning on November 23rd for 1 week before hitting Netflix on December 23rd. It is the movie we're seeing tomorrow night. It is one of my most anticipated movies of this year, Glass Onion: A Nights Out Mystery. I am so excited.
Yeah, I didn't. I purposely didn't put this on the list because by the time they're listening to this, we will have already seen it. And I was like, I'll give it space to somebody else, I guess. No, but yeah, I'm right there with you.
I would totally share this. I'm super excited to see it. I've heard good things so far. Some have said it is on par with the last film, which to me is awesome. Some people have said that it exceeds last film, which is also awesome because I fucking love the first one. So I'm super stoked. The only thing that bums me out about this movie at all is because it's Netflix, there's a chance that we'll never get a physical release. And if it's as anywhere near as good as the first film, I'll want to own it. Now, the only thing that excites me is the fact that there have been some other streaming films that did come out on physical. Most of those were Paramount with the Lovebirds and a few other films. Coming to America did finally get a release, even though it was released on Prime Video. But I am hoping Rian Johnson did something when he inked this deal with Netflix to give us a physical release.
Hey, it's not like Netflix doesn't have 3 Criterion. So as unlikely as it is, they got Ocean, Irishman, and Power of the Dog. So yeah, there's a slim chance.
Let's put it this way: if Criterion released a physical copy of Glass Onion, I will buy it, but I'll be pissed off if it releases before Da 5 Bloods. Like, come the fuck on.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I will not be happy if, like, Power of the Dog. Okay, solid movie. No problem. I get it. Nominated for a ton of awards. Won a ton of awards. but it's the fucking Da Five Bloods. That movie got ignored when it shouldn't have, and I will not ever be not angry about it. I'm about as angry as Da Five Bloods getting the treatment it got, as Rocket Man getting the treatment it got. And anyway, we're talking about anticipated films, and I can't wait to see Glass Onion.
There you go, Glass Onion. I heard that I heard it's really good from someone who didn't like the first movie at all. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, all right. A friend of the show, Edwin Arnauden, not a big fan of a Knives Out. And he was like, I really dug Glass Onion.
Okay.
So there must be something there. Must be something there. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see it as well.
Well, you're gonna have to wait until tomorrow night.
Yeah, we will 24 hours from now be watching it. Every trailer or TV spot I've seen, Dave Bautista just looks like a jerk and sounds like a jerk. It's an overly obnoxious jerk, and it looks like, again, everyone on set had a blast making this movie, and I can't wait to be a part of that, man. My first movie.
Hold on, real quick. I've only watched the teaser.
Okay.
I am not watching. I programmed a review that Hunter Heilman wrote from Film Fest 919. I tried my best not to pay attention to it. Like, I was like, oh, there's words. I didn't have to edit this. There's words on a page. I'll put things around words. I didn't read a fucking one of them.
I'm sure Hunter appreciates that from his editor.
Well, no, no. I'm the assignment editor, and I have the final word. Crystal's the editor.
Okay.
So she did that.
She did all the work there.
Yeah.
Okay, right on. There you go.
What's your number one?
My first one is a movie that comes out later on this month as well, theatrically. At the end of this week, as a matter of fact,
like,
the
you
time
can't
of this
remember.
recording. The Menu.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes,
delicious.
A trailer.
Delectable.
The first trailer that came out, I was like, I don't know what this is. It looks like it's going to be a really pitch black dark comedy, which I'm all here for. If you're not familiar with what The Menu is, it's about a couple who go to this remote island to eat at this really expensive restaurant. It's this whole lavish experience, apparently, with the chef being Ray Fiennes, aka M, the couples Anya Taylor-Joy and Nicholas Hoult. And then apparently, as the night progresses at this meal, deaths start happening. And we're not quite sure who's doing the killing or what was perpetuating these deaths or what's the impetus for all this is. But a lot of hunger is doing it. Hunger, Michael Fassbender movie, 2011. It looks weird and funny and just dark and fucked up. And it's one thing Nicholas Hoult does great. It's dark and fucked up, and I'm interested to see how Ray Fiennes and Anya Taylor-Joy plays into this. So I'm all for it, man. Can't wait for that movie.
Real quick deviation. Apparently, Descendant, the movie that I mentioned earlier, just won Best Historical Documentary from the Critics' Choice Awards.
There you go. Look at Doug in real time giving you dope shit to recommend.
Even though it's real time to me, not real time to you.
Real time to somebody, damn it. That's all that matters here.
It's real time to me.
Real time to you. Yeah. Have you seen trailers for The Menu?
Oh, yes. I am very excited about it. Now, it is a horror film. It is a dark comedy, but it's a horror film. And you know what? I'm ready to eat the rich. Let's fucking go. Let's do this.
You're just all about eating the rich, huh?
I am just happy. I think I will have a good time at the movie, and I'm looking forward to it. If I recall correctly, John Leguizamo retweeted a "Hey, I'm being considered" sort of message, and it was an FYC for your consideration, and he was listed in it. So I am excited about that because maybe it means I'll get to see it, since, as you mentioned, there's 2 screenings and I can't attend either of them.
They screwed us on that one, man. They screwed us on that one. Either way, I'm just quite happy to go see this in theaters at release time. I'm all for it, man. I'm all for this movie.
Looks like a good time.
What else? Your second, sir?
My second one comes out February 17th. It's a little film. Microscopic, really. just almost quantum in nature. Don't shake your head at me. You asked to do this show. But
Just
yes, it is
get
Peyton
on
Reed.
with it.
It is Peyton Reed's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yeah.
Just looking at the list of things, it of the movies that are coming out, there's some that I am excited to see. Some of the ones that I mentioned in that initial rundown, I am actually jazzed to check out. But I am super stoked for this. I love Jonathan Majors. I'm not as versed in his filmography as I'd like to be, but the stuff I've seen, I am just delighted by. Um, so I can't wait to check that out. I like Catherine Newton, who is taking over as Cassie. I'm sad about that because even though I loved the little girl that played her in the first two films,
Yeah.
she is awesome. We only got a little bit of the adulter Cassie in Endgame, and I just feel bad for that actor a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, it kind of sucks that that she didn't get to keep going on with it.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Peyton, like maybe that actor just couldn't do it with the schedule or just decided not to. I don't know the behind the scenes, but there is a little bit of a, oh, that's sad. But we get more Michael Pena. So what's to be sad about? But I'm excited to see Phase 5 kick off. And I'm expecting Ant-Man, particularly based on the trailer, which is usually pretty light and sort of fun, and even if it's got stakes, they're usually stakes that are not to be making a joke, actually tiny. Like the first film, it's about Hank and his tech, and in the second film it's about saving the mom, and there's other stuff that happens, but it's super personal and super simple, whereas all the other films usually have globetrotting and life, whole countries being threatened. So I'm really curious to see the different stakes here. They seem much more significant, particularly because this is our introduction to Kang, a character I know nothing about, but give me Jonathan Majors.
There you go. I mean, you referenced earlier that that whole last episode of Loki with the conversation with He Who Remains, and that gives you a little peek of what you're going to get with Kang, I think, in or of Jonathan Majors' work. A lot of people didn't like his performance. I think his performance was deliberately obtuse as to I mean, first of all, as a dude who's been by himself for who knows how many thousands of years, so it's going to be a little bit odd. Uh, but I think you need to deliberately ham it up just a little bit so that we get a complete 180 when we actually do get King the Conqueror. They need to separate those two
Absolutely.
performances.
If we've got variants, they have to be variants somehow. It's not just going to be gender, race, or something else. There's going to be something different.
Yeah, yeah, it's got to be something that differentiates, not just the same thing over and over and over and over again, like you said. So yeah, I
They
am.
can't
I'm
all be alligators.
They can't all be alligators. They can't all be alligators. It can't be turtles all the way down. I'm looking forward to this as well. I was not expecting Ant-Man to get all the way to a trilogy. I'm glad it did, man. It's been a fun ride all throughout, man. I love it. I'm all for it. Good call, sir. Good call. My second one happening here during, according to Douglas, still not legal winter, December 16th, man. Avatar 2, man, Way of the Water. It's sheer curiosity as to what the fuck this man's gonna pull out of his ass now. The one rule in Hollywood is you don't bet against James Cameron because most of the time you will get your lunch money taken by this old man. I am all for a sonic and visual overload with this movie. I mean, he gave us a great visual overload with the first Avatar. Yeah, the story is thinner than fish shit, but it's still a dope journey and experience to go on. I mean, every
All
movie
the
can.
jokes I've heard is that it's Fern Gully in space.
It's Fern Gully in space. Sure, okay. Every movie's a fucking something this mixed with a little something that. So I don't know why everyone chose to ride this as hard as it did. And that's always confusing me. Like, it's just Dances with Wolves. It's just Fern Gully in space. And I'm like, yeah, you can do that with about 30 dozen other movies as well. So I'm not sure why they harped and bagged on this as hard as they did. He built a world that quite hadn't been seen to that level of detail and specificity. And I think that's why so many people were enamored with Pandora when the movie first came out. And now it's been what, a decade and some change later. Uh, a man who's known for pushing the boundaries and forefront of technology and filmmaking. And people like, there's no one who has any interest in in this world. You know, they re-released Avatar potentially and racked up a couple more $1 million, which proves that there's A, still interest, and B, what has he done in this adjoining time that's going to blow us out of our seats? Yes, sir. You in the back with your hand up.
I have no interest.
Well, there you go. That's one
I still
person
haven't
missing.
seen the first one.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
like James Cameron.
yeah. He made a dope fucking movie.
I just didn't
And
care.
no, there you go. There's that.
It
I cared.
oversold me. It oversold me. They did a fucking Bones episode. It was, by the time, it was everywhere. I work in radio, so there was advertisements, there were promotions. They did a Bones episode, and Crystal and I were watching, and we were like, there's literally an episode of the characters in line trying to buy tickets. Joel, yeah, one of the actors is in the movie. Tall, lanky guy, grandma's boy. He was the robot dude.
Mm-hmm. I know
I can't think of his name now, but he was one of the interns in the show, and like he's in it, and he was blue. But we watched the episode, we were like, fuck it, we don't care anymore. It's everywhere. We're done. We're done.
Can't imagine being swayed by a TV show. Yeah, I
We
loved
weren't
every.
swayed, but no, they were trying to get us to watch. It was cross promotion. It was Fox.
Yeah,
We were like, no, it's everywhere. I'm tired of this. I have no interest now.
that's
There's no
one way.
mystery.
One way of looking at things. Well, no mystery except for what the movie is. It's I'm looking forward to this sequel to see what it is that they bring. He said years and years ago, as the first one, we explore the skies of Pandora. He said that we'll be exploring the oceans, and you know that's all throughout the you see that throughout the trailers. And what we've seen has been absolutely visually arresting. I cannot wait to get back into this world and see what other kind of stories they are telling. I'm not sure if it's still if they're still perpetuating the plot of the first movie, because it's not like you won the battle, evil's vanquished. You won a battle, not a war. So I'm not sure if we are still in this war or for something completely different. And it's aged real time. This is set more than a decade after the events of the first Avatar. So I love it when a movie that's got a nice long pause in between it does shit like that. So all for it, man. And also, you know, the Sam Worthington pay his light bill because I'm that dude. You don't see him too often these days. It's good for Sam.
That's true. That's true. And by the way, I want to be clear. I have nothing against Avatar. I just don't have it. I've just never had an interest to put it on. My father, on the other hand, I will never forget because he still has the 3D glasses. Well, he's moved since then, so he may not. But he held on to the 3D glasses afterwards for some reason, and he just talked about how incredible the 3D was, and that he literally felt like he could reach out and grab it. So I,
My dumbass tried. I got caught up. I got caught up at one point, and before I could stop myself, as a leaf was falling in front of my face, I reached out and I was like, "God damn it, they got me!" And I would not be upset if they got me yet again on this time, man.
right on.
Yeah,
Right on.
it's
I mean,
the best
Cameron,
world building in film, I think.
he makes these movies these days mostly so that he has the funds to explore the ocean. But when he's exploring the ocean, he's building new technology that he then turns around to use in his films. So, you know, if you're you Daryl, or you anybody listening is excited for Avatar, fucking be excited. I hope it's wonderful. And if I end up seeing it, I'll do my best to watch the first one first.
There you go. What's your third one, sir?
My third one, I'm going to continue this trend of purely pop culture, purely general audience run I'm on with the March 3rd sports drama directorial debut of Michael B. Jordan, Creed 3. I can't fucking wait. The Creed series made me interested in Rocky. I liked the Rocky movies. I've seen them, but I didn't necessarily love them.
Okay.
And so when Creed came out, I didn't really know Jordan as an actor. Hadn't seen a lot of his work by that point. And I knew about some of it. Didn't know Coogler. Hadn't seen Fruitvale Station. So I didn't have a reason to go see it, but I kept hearing about it. So I got it from like Netflix or something. And the movie's extraordinary. And Creed 2 continues that extraordinary sensation. And just like Creed 2 had a different director, this one has a different one. I am curious about the approach for it. It just so happens to be another movie with Jonathan Majors
There's a
playing.
moment in that trailer that that I love Majors in, and there, he's reintroduced back into Creed's life, and they're sitting down at that diner, and he's like, "Yeah, I kept in shape while I was in jail." This, that. Have you seen the trailer?
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, I kept in shape in jail. Got a little gas in the tank." And Michael B. Jordan says, "Well, then come on by." For a second, there's this look on Jonathan Major's face that's like, "Fucking got him." And then he wipes it off his face, and he puts on a false face of humility because his face lights up, goes blank, and then just has this like, "Oh, well, thank you, I appreciate that offer." And it makes me think that you just fell right into my trap, buddy. I'm about to take everything, or attempt to take everything you have.
I'm gonna go rewatch that trailer because I didn't catch that.
Go back and look for that look, man. I noticed it when I first watched it, and I was like, he fell hook, line, and sinker for that bit of bait.
Can I humble brag a little bit?
Humble brag, sir.
Okay, the day before the trailer debuted, I got to sit in on a press conference with Jordan
Yeah.
to listen to him talk about making the movie, why this film. We got to watch the trailer. I am so happy for him. Like, I'm happy for anybody if they get to make a project that they're excited about, but he seems just amplified to do this, and that is absolutely wonderful. And to be working with these individuals that he's built a relationship with since becoming Adonis. Tessa Thompson, I can't wait to see again. Felicia Rashad is supposedly returning. I'm gonna mispronounce Florin's last name, so I'm not even gonna try. But who played Drago's son? Like, the idea that we're going to get some of these people back and that there really is this world. I'm super excited to see where Creed 3 goes with it in an almost Rocky 3 kind of way. Though we got some of that with Creed 2, so I'm hoping not. But I can't wait to see them play in this particular sandbox.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, should be a good time. Is this Michael B. Jordan's first? Is this his directorial debut? Yeah, so there's that element to it. I'm interested to see what he brings to the table as a director as well as an actor. Obviously, both him and my Jonathan Majors are yoked for this movie, so it's gonna be a fun affair. Hopefully, he keeps it nice and dynamic during those boxing scenes. I think it's gonna be some fun shit.
If the trailer is any indication, we should be okay in that regard, because I noticed a shift in the action from the way that the first film was shot in the boxing scenes. It definitely feels different in the second one. So I'm curious how Jordan will handle that as well.
All right, then there you go. And my final film, also this year, December. I think Christmas. Nope, September 23rd. So to make for a good Christmas.
We've already
joint.
talked about Glass Onion.
We've already talked about Glass Onion. Babylon, man. Damien Chazelle's joint. Damien Chazelle coming back with probably his biggest all-star cast to date, with Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Gene Smart, Tobey Maguire, Lucas Haas, Samara Weaving, Spike Jonze, man, Kevin Larson, fucking Blee of Red Hot Chili Peppers, Jeff Garlin, Ethan Suplee. It's a schooner. It's I cannot wait to see.
It's a boat. It's a boat. Stupid.
Yeah.
Schooner is a boat.
Apparently, this man just lives for period pieces. I think it was Damien Chazelle. So First Man was his last movie. Yeah,
that was
La
his
La
last
Land.
movie before
that. Yeah.
Which, while modern, is still very much a sort of a period film in the way that it presents certain things.
I think Whiplash is his only contemporary joint to date that I can think of.
Whiplash.
Yeah.
Or as Crystal calls it, Sociopath's a Love Story.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It's about Hollywood in its most outrageous excess, the golden era of Hollywood, early Hollywood, and all the decadence and depravity throughout aka my favorite time of Hollywood, when everything was just batshit crazy, and every story you hear coming out of old Hollywood is batshit crazy. And you're like, I can't believe that actually happened. And then, like 3 weeks later, you hear an even crazier story about some shit that happened at RKO Studios, some dumb shit like that.
So many drugs.
So many drugs. I missed my calling. Yeah, a tale of outsized ambition and outrageous excess, man. The rise and fall of multiple people. Most of these people are all fictional characters. I think one or two are playing actual real people from Hollywood from that era. They've released one trailer. It looks like it lives up to its name of outrageousness and excess. I think it's a very fun trailer. I had a lot of fun with it. Brad Pitt looks to be just having the time of his life doing this role. So I'm interested to see what all is in here. This shit's 3 hours and 8 minutes long, so I cannot wait. I'm
It better
one.
be worth the goddamn runtime.
Uh, as far as 3 hour movie, you know what? Mark it down. Best favorite 3 hour movies is going to be somewhere on our list at some point. I'm pretty sure we can pull those out of our ass.
You know, I honestly, I mean, because I haven't revisited First Man probably since the theater. I made sure to pick it up because it's just so wonderful
Mm.
and beautiful. But La La Land is so great. Whiplash I like, but would never want to watch again due to its intensity, tempo, if you will. But Babylon, it better be because that trailer is kinetic. But if it doesn't live up to that for 3 hours,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was gonna say, but then I don't think I needed to. Like a movie like that or a kinetic energy like that, you don't want to keep up for 3 hours. You need to value your peaks every once in a while. And I think a great example of that is The Wolf of Wall Street. A lot of high highs, but Scorsese does remember to take time to bring it back down to earth every once in a while. You got to ebb and flow. I don't think I need 3 hours of insanity, although Wolf of Wall Street itself still wears me out to watch this movie. And I do want to walk out of Babylon just feeling like I've been put through the ringer. So hopefully that's what I get coming out of here.
I'll keep my fingers crossed for you. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it too, but you're like excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this movie, man. I think it's going to be some shenanigans, and I can't wait to see some good shenanigans.
Shenanigans is your middle name.
Shenanigans is my middle name, and it's something that I've been.
People don't realize O'Shaughnessy comes after that.
Ridiculous. Yeah, that's our threes, man. Do you want to get into our challenges?
Are you ready?
I am indeed ready.
I mean, I know the football game's on. You haven't had the movie on during this, so I know you haven't been like cliff notes in it.
No, I have not been clip noting it. Would you like to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Simply because we were talking about that sort of hyperkinetic. Uh, David Leitch's Bullet Train. You challenged me to check out. I love the company he and Stahelski put together. What is it? 8711 Productions.
Yeah.
They pulled together their own stunt crew and they've worked on dozens of big Hollywood movies. I was actually shocked that nobody isn't on their list, but at least it's not on their website, and nobody has a feel of their type of stunt work. But it's the John Wicks and whatnot, the Deadpools, etc. The action in this movie is great. Brian Tyree Henry and Aaron Taylor Johnson are fucking phenomenal in this movie. But Brad Pitt's character is so uninteresting.
Mm-hmm.
It's so uninteresting. And the story is overly complicated for what it's doing. In a way that sort of detracts from it. It's maybe 2 hours long, and at 90 minutes, I went, "Oh God, we've still got 30 more minutes of this," which is frustrating because it's got such an incredible cast. Some that are literally there to be just bodies,
Mm-hmm.
but or to pad the cast, as it were. But it's got a great. I mean, fucking Karen Fugahara of The Boys. She's in this, and she's just there to push a cart for snacks, right?
Yep.
Um, but anyway, like
She's
I,
just there because they're in Japan and they need at least one Japanese face. That's why she's there.
oddly, it does kind of feel that way. I will give the film credit is that the original author, for those of you that don't know, Bullet Train is an adaptation of a book called Miss Beadle? No, Maria Beadle. Excuse
Mm-hmm.
me, Maria Beadle. And it's about the movie is about an assassin by the name of Ladybug. He's less of an assassin and more of a retrieval person who is sent out on a job after having come off of the injured list. And he's come off on a job where he's got to just retrieve something, get off the train, and get out. Except in getting on the train, he ends up becoming part of a larger plot that involves a bunch of other assassins, a bunch of other individuals, and the head of the Yakuza in Japan, who just so happens to be a Russian, that whether you take his money or fail to do a mission, you are fucked. And so everybody that's involved in this, there's a reason, and that reason is tenuous at best. It is not great. The whole idea of it is so grasping at straws in some instances that it's sort of like some stuff I get, some stuff I don't. It's fine. The movie's fine.
Yeah, yeah. It's too cute for its own good. It tries to be
Right.
cleverer than it actually is, which I think is what I said when I first talked about it on the show. Um, yeah, they're trying too hard to be like, huh? See how cool this is, huh? Huh? Too winky and too naughty. I think if they played it just a little bit straighter, um, and they didn't muck around with what is the phrase I'm looking for? They didn't muck around with how the story itself unfolds as much as they do. Um, I think I would have enjoyed it better.
Yeah. 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 And by the way, for anybody that's photosensitive, because it's a bullet train, it moves at fast speeds. So there's a lot of lights that go flying by through the windows. So keep that in mind if you are photosensitive and you're curious about checking it out. It is on home video now.
It is on home video now. I had it in my hand at Walmart and I was looking down at it and I was like, what am I doing? I put it back on the shelf.
Well, it's
Went
Black
about my
Friday. It
day.
could go on sale soon.
Yeah, I put it back because I'm like, I'm gonna buy this and never fucking watch it. So put this money back in my pocket and put it
I was
back on
about to
the
say that
shelf.
that's a completely different reason because like Target has had some Sony movies on sale only online on sale. So I snagged No Way Home for $15 and Ghostbusters Afterlife for $15 on 4K. So I was like, that's a great deal for $30 for these two movies when it would be like $40 for one. Sweet.
There you go. It's
Shop the
November.
sales, folks.
So
Shop the sales.
thusly, speaking of shop sales, we still have 2 weeks left of the Barnes and Noble Criterion sale. It's still happening, which I just recently picked up Hitchcock's Notorious. I've never seen before, so that'll be a first watch for me, as well as the Infernal Affairs trilogy that The Departed is based on. And I think I also got Malcolm X, Spike
Uh-huh.
Lee coming my way as well. So I will see what next paycheck holds for me in that regard.
I I found out that my credit card can, if I redeem points for gift cards, they have digital versions. I've only known them to have physical ones that they had to mail me. I didn't know about the digital ones. So I also availed myself of the Criterion sale. I finally picked up The Irishman.
Hey, hey,
I've wanted to get that for a while. It's a film that is very good,
very
but
good.
also it was a film that it was my first time being in the CCA, and I got some neat stuff for it. So I was like, I should really have the movie. But I also did a pre-order of Wally.
Okay.
Oh well,
Well, there you go.
yeah.
There you go. All right,
Let's
and the
talk about your
movie that you gave me is DC League of Super Pets, directed by Jared Stern, a name I'm not familiar with. It is on HBO Max. It came out this year.
movie.
It's DC Super Pets. You can kind of put those things together. Superman, his dog Crypto, who was the staple of Superman comics for quite some time. They just been on Earth doing their Clark and Bart Kent thing.
Did you just say Clark and Bark?
Yeah, Clark and Bart, man. That's what they were in the movie.
Is that
Um,
is that a rock and sock joke?
doing a thing of Superman and Crypto, and they have that very great man and his man's best friend dynamic until, of course, woman comes into that dynamic. That woman being Lois Lane, that kind of shifts the dynamic between Clark and Crypto. And then within all this, of course, it is DC. You are a metropolis, so you must have Lex Luthor doing some evil ass shit, which of course he is trying to get his hands on some orange kryptonite, which is supposed to, according to him, give him powers. That's not exactly what it does. It gives pets powers, and thus is due to some wild shit, due to shenanigans. The pet shop is gifted animals with powers, which becomes the DC League of Super Pets. Not great. It is a movie I watched, and I was like, yeah, that was approximately 105 minutes. I could have watched something else.
Oh,
If you are a fan of these types of movies, then I'm sure it is all for you. Couple of hee-hees and ha-has there throughout. There was when he introduced himself as Bark Kent. I got a good belly laugh out of that. There's a couple other things in there, but as is, not really my vibe, not really my thing.
You didn't like Squeezy Bruce?
Yeah. Squeezy Bruce, no. Bruce's reaction to Squeezy Bruce, yes. I was a fan of a man who was made of nothing but money, always making sure that his money works for him, which I guess is kind of what he's doing there. And of course, at these kinds of things, we do get to see the Justice League, your standardish Justice League. Your Green Lantern is switched out for just Cruz instead of any of your traditional idiot Green Lanterns that we've seen throughout DC Comics history. But your Aquaman, your Batman, your Wonder Woman, your Superman, your Batman, your Staples, and Cyborg in there as well, the newer Justice League, as it were. So it's nice seeing them kind of operate in their own capacity, and eventually these pets are kind of paired off with each of these, and they save the day as Justice League is captured. So it's fun that all sorts of voice talent is kind of like spot your favorite actor or actress throughout there. All sorts of people in there. Of course, you got The Rock and Kevin Hart together for the 78th time doing a project. Kate McKinnon in there, who was my favorite modern day member of SNL, or was. John Krasinski in there, Vanessa Bayer, another SNL alum, Natasha Lyonne, who has one of the sexiest voices in Hollywood. And then you have old salty Mark Maron, Keanu Reeves. Middle ditch in there
on everything in that movie.
yes. Schwartz and Middle Ditch, actually, the comedy duo are there together. It's like I said, if you like that, and of course, my crush Jamila Jamil as well as Wonder Woman. If this is your type of thing, man, if you get down to anime movies like this, you've probably already seen this, but if you haven't, it is on HBO Max. Not for me
though. I watched it for home release. And then the next night went, okay, we're doing a picnic. We're doing a picnic dinner. This is the movie we're watching. And Connor loved it.
Yeah.
And I still had a good time with it. Did you watch the end credit sequence?
I watched the end credit sequence and I was like, all right, so we got Dwayne Johnson talking to Dwayne Johnson. That's weird.
He is the strongest man. Oh, is he really? Could he do all of this? Yeah, he totally could. Oh, yeah? Really? Boom.
I can go fetch on Pluto. Yeah, as far as anime movies I've seen this year, which is very, 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 very little, for some reason, I seem to be the only one left alive that still rocks out for Lightyear. I still really dug that movie, man. It's kind of fallen by the wayside. I don't think you're going to get much of it during award season, but as far as the animated realm goes, that was just a straight fun sci-fi adventure that I really fucking dug.
There you go.
Unlike this movie.
You wait till you see Inuo. I think you are going to dig the shit out of that.
I genuinely do not dig the shit out of animated movies, but I will perhaps give it a go.
Do you like Queen?
The band Queen?
Mm-hmm.
I like certain songs. The band
itself.
Like
hip-hop?
I do love hip-hop.
Do you like rock music?
Mm.
Do you like time travel movies?
And that I do.
Do you like serial killer movies?
For the most part.
Do you like period films involving feudal Japan?
Yes, if told by the right people.
You're gonna enjoy this.
Okay. All right.
It has literally all of that.
Oh boy, I do like those individually. A little bit iffy on that as a stew, but yeah, that's it. That's it for 77, episode 77. Oh, well, we'll be back I'm sure than 2-ish more weeks for some more shit, man. We're getting nipples deep in award season. I'm
Yeah,
all
we are.
for it. Watched a whole bunch of shit yesterday and earlier today. Um, it's nose to the grind time as we're getting fed movies out the wazoo.
Yeah,
And we will
yeah.
tell you about
My
this movie as we watch.
yeah, I'm basically at this point taking off from my birthday through Christmas instead of writing. One, we've got nominations to process for the NCFCA, but I'm going to have so many movies to watch. It's like I'm just not going to write from this period to this period. I'm just going to watch movies whenever I've got a free moment.
Yeah, we got nominations for NCSA that will, I assume, come at a very reasonable time, unlike other organizations, which are asking for them uh, far too early, in my opinion. But it is what it is. So I get these movies knocked out. I am also in the same mode that you are. I'm I have a goal for the year of X amount of reviews. I'm 2 away from that, and I still have like 10 that I'm eyeballing for the rest of the year. So I'll hit my goal, and then I'll get a couple more down if I choose to.
Well,
But
you got Glass Onion, so there's one.
yes,
Are you going? Are you doing White Noise? I know we're rapping, but are you doing White Noise?
no,
Oh, okay.
no,
I've
no.
I've I've heard excellent things about it, so I'm
Well, there
checking
you
it
go.
out.
Got glass on, and I got the menu at the end of the week if I want to make it those my two. But of course, I'm going to do one for Avatar. I'm going to do one for Babylon. I'm going to do one for just had it just lost the Pale Blue Eye Gothic horror movie that's coming out at the end of the year.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
think I've
think
heard of that.
a trailer. Oh, Women Talking. Of course, I'll be checking out as well. So there's stuff coming down the devotion, stuff coming down the pipe, man. So yeah, but I am setting aside Thanksgiving weekend from Wednesday to Sunday to rewatch my top 15 to see where my top 10 stands for right now.
The Edgar Allan Poe movie.
Yes, the Edgar Allan Poe movie,
Okay.
The Pale Blue Eye.
Okay.
Yes.
I have heard of it. I have not watched the trailer for it that I think released recently.
Yeah, I think it released. I have not watched either, but I saw it and I was like, not really quite my style, but I'll give it a go.
Until a raven comes a knocking, or you
Uh,
hear a heartbeat coming up from the floor.
yeah, until the Baltimore Ravens come for me. Mortal enemies of my Pittsburgh Steelers. That's it for 77 Cinema. We'll be back in 2-ish weeks, man, with some more movies. Until then, you all take it easy and have a good one.
Be well, everybody. Watch movies.